I do want to draw your attention, though, to a story right now that is not a budget story, and many of you won't be able to access due to the fact that it's behind a legacy media paywall at the Herald. But I think it is a very, very important story, and I am signalling that we will get into this next week, probably Tuesday. I'll just let you know I'm away Monday. I've got some doctor's things I've got to do. I'm going to read this story by excellent investigative journalist Matt Nippert. He can drive me up the wall at times, but he knows how to do some investigation. And this is the story that is currently running behind the paywall in the Herald, but that I think every New Zealander should be concerned about. West Auckland social services charity Waipareira Trust has agreed to cease making political donations and try to claw back hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest-free loans advanced to its chief executive and the Maori Party president, John Tamahiri. There we go. It's all summed up in just one lead paragraph. Waipareira Trust, which is run as a charitable trust and doesn't pay tax as a result, and is basically run as the personal fiefdom of John Tamahiri, it has been told, or it has been found, that it was making non-charitable political loans to Mr. Tamahiri, its chief executive, who then used those loans to finance the political activities of the political party that he was the president of, the Maori Party. And what that means in one paragraph is that last election, the Maori Party's war chest was provided by John Tamahiri through loans, which I am going to come out and say it, were essentially fraudulent for a charity to make to its chief executive. The move, effectively confirming a long-standing ban on charities making political donations or explicit endorsements, resolves an existential threat for the Waipareira Trust, but hits Tamahiri in the back pocket and also throws a considerable wrinkle into the Maori Party's general election planning. Well, I think Matt Nippert has got that wrong. What has been done here is the Waipareira Trust has been found to be in breach of the Charities Act. Basically, this story confirms that the funding of the Maori Party was illegal, fraudulent, or at least questionable. But instead of enforcing the law, it would appear to me, and we're going to ask them on next week, the Charities Commission have done some sort of dirty back-whare deal with John Tamahiri and the Maori Party. A bit like the dirty back-whare deal that was done with the Speaker of the House when we had a Labour MP, a Labour minister, resign recently. So I don't know what is more ridiculous, the idea that John Tamahiri will pay these loans back, or that the trust that he runs will ask for the money back. This is a scandal, and it is corruption. Last year, the Herald revealed that Waipareira and the Tamahiri-led National Urban Maori Authority had contributed nearly $500,000 to Tamahiri's 2019 tilt for the Auckland Mayoralty and his 2020 general election campaign with the Maori Party, funding which had made the cluster of charities one of New Zealand's largest political donors. Those payments attracted the scrutiny of sector-regulated charity services over concerns they breached long-standing prohibitions on charities engaging in partisan political activity. This week, Charlotte Stanley, who we hope to talk to next week, the General Manager of the Charity Services at the Department of Internal Affairs, said its 3-year investigation into Waipareira had closed after undertakings were given by a trust to no longer engage in political funding and also to recover funds previously advanced. Well, Charlotte Stanley, General Manager of Charity Services, I don't know that you've got a mandate to negotiate the law. Clearly the law's been broken. Will you enforce it, or will you do a dirty deal with John Tamahiri. And John Tamahiri, you're welcome to come on to the program and talk about this. She said the trust should take steps to recover the loans, and it should not make any loans or donations to political candidates in the future. Talk about a wet bus ticket. We have discussed this with the trust. Oh, that's nice of you. And it has agreed to meet these expectations. Could I please see those discussions? We'll ask for them under the Official Information Act today, Ben. We'll ask in what the agreement is, if it's a written agreement to meet those expectations. We are confident it will do so, even though John Tamahiri has form of doing this before. And we will keep in touch to check on the situation. This is laughable. It is risible. This is a free path for corruption for the Maori Party and the Waipareira Trust. Stanley said during its investigation, the trust claimed it advanced funds in accordance with its charitable purpose and believed structuring the payments as a loan to Tamahiri meant they should not be considered a donation. But she said, regardless of whether the payments were packaged as a loan or donation in Charity Services' view, they crossed a line under the Charities Act. No charity is permitted to make contributions to a political party or candidate. The trust loan was in breach of the Charities Act. Well, why not bloody well fine them or take away their charitable status? Oh, because maybe they're Maori? Because you're too scared of that? The accounts for Waipareira show that over the past few years it advanced $385,000 in interest-free loans to Tamahiri to pursue the general elections and political aspirations. So it even acknowledged itself. According to most recent accounts filed to the Charities Register, that sum remained outstanding, $385,000. Tamahiri, of course, declining to answer questions from the Herald about whether he'd repaid Waipareira. The loans are commercially confidential, but thanks for asking, he said. I just think this is a have. This is a have and a rort and a con. And, you know, this isn't the government doing its job. This isn't Charity Services doing a job. This is one set of rules for a Maori trust and the Maori Party. And I got to say, you look at Destiny Church lost its charitable status. I think, did the Sallies as well? I'm pretty sure Greenpeace did. This is a crock and a rort, and someone needs to look into this. And I'm sorry, the Maori Party is illegally funded, and that's what we can say now. But maybe it is one set of rules for one people and one set of rules for another.